Hello, fabulous superstar Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of February 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boys, at a very special time, and it truly is so special now. Powerful energies are with us, and we have a jam-packed month. We're going to go through it one at a time, but when we see such powerful shifts, something within us feels like it goes through a shift as well, and that certainly includes you. On the 4th of the month, we will have Jupiter going direct. Since early October, Jupiter has been retrograde. Now, as Jupiter moves forward in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your daily life. This is about your work life, the people who surround you there, how you feel about your work, the tasks you're working on. But it also has to do with your health and your overall sense of well-being. These energies represent a powerful time of feeling that much more clear about the opportunities available to you, about how you want to actually live your life. And it's also about feeling a whole lot better, whether it's feeling better about your work, feeling better about your connections with people you interact with every day, feeling better in your health, feeling better physically. All of that becomes possible for you now. I think this forward momentum of Jupiter is going to feel like quite the lift, which has you feeling that much more open to living your life that much more fully as well. It is going to be on the 7th of the month that we have a rare phenomenon of the North Node meeting Neptune in the sky. This happens about once every 17 years, and when it takes place, it is a major turning point moment. It represents a doorway opening from which blessings are able to flow. And for you, this is taking place in a part of the sky that has to do with synchronicity, learning, teaching, speaking, communications of all kinds, as well as the siblings, cousins, and neighbors in your life. One of these people might facilitate greater opportunity for you, or it could just be wonderful, inspired blessings are happening for them, and you feel grateful for it, you feel happy for them. More personally, more opportunities to share, to connect with others spontaneously and synchronistically, to find yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting the right person. It just might feel like magic to you now. I am going to return to this part of the sky because there's a lot going on here and more to talk about. For now, I'll move forward, and it is going to be on the 12th of the month that we will have this month's full moon. Now, this full moon takes place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with big money, right? It has to do with your relationship with financial institutions. So we're looking at credit cards, loans, grants, benefits you qualify for. Now, many Capricorns might not experience this in the context of financial matters. It might be more oriented around truth, change, transformation, and regeneration. Here's the thing. This is an interesting full moon. And when we have such strong financial energy, it means that the money you need is there. You may be engaging spiritual lessons as part of having to deal with the financial matter, but it'll come together. We have Uranus setting up a larger configuration of tension called a T-square. If there's something that needs to be addressed, it'll feel like it comes up by surprise, and you address it, and it resolves itself very quickly as well. However, the other thing is that we do have Chiron speaking in supreme harmony with this full moon. Chiron is in a part of the sky that has to do with your home, your living situation, and your past. Where it is that you're maybe using time alone, using time at home to cultivate an idea, or if it is that you have a home-based business or you work with homes, well, that's where you're able to tap into that energy of wealth that much more easily, and it feels like it's able to come together for you. If you're trying to access funding like a mortgage or deal with your mortgage, as part of securing your living situation, that is also where developments can take place that cultivate a spirit of wisdom, but it also feels like things can come together. The surprise factor might be oriented around some truth within yourself that maybe you haven't addressed before, you haven't dealt with before, but it ultimately ends up being a truth that shifts something for you in a powerful way. It is a truth that liberates you, but first does tick you off in a big way, to quote Gloria Steinem there. But it should be welcome, because ultimately this is energy of change that leads you towards authenticity, that leads you to ensure that whatever is changing, it ultimately moves you in a direction of your truth, making it that much more rewarding. The 23rd of the month, Mars goes direct in your opposite sign. And it is Mars moving forward that is likely to feel as if, especially where it comes to your one-on-one alliances with other people, this could be business partnerships or professional alliances. Well, something just opens up. It starts to feel a whole lot more free. And it starts to feel as if there is an ease with which you're able to either connect with others or find an understanding. It is Mars that is going to go direct while hanging tight a conversation with your ruling planet Saturn. It is a supremely harmonious connection at that. And so this starts to feel that much more like pathways open up, and the progress made now is steady. It is sure. And it has the potential to create outcomes that bring benefit for a long time to come. All of this is very useful where it comes to business partnerships and professional alliances. Now, navigating forward from there on the 27th is when we are going to have a new moon. And this is where I come back to that communicative, synchronistic part of your sky, because we have a new moon here. And this new moon is going to be speaking in a conversation of tension with Jupiter. That brings with it overconfidence, overshooting the mark. And given that we have this part of the sky having to do with synchronicity, spontaneity, just be mindful that you are not overexerting yourself, especially as you might get caught up in a very spontaneous moment here. We do also have Mars speaking in supreme harmony with this new moon, so it isn't likely that that's going to be the case. You'll find a way to keep your own energy measured, and that will end up serving you that much more better. This part of the sky also having to do with contracts, negotiations, reading the fine print. Well, that is something that you might overlook a little bit here. So just, I like to say pace yourself and be yourself. You're going to want to remember that in your enthusiasm, you might interpret certain documents or other types of communication. You might interpret it in a way that you feel you would want them to be rather than they actually are. So slowing down just a little bit can go a really long way to help you to understand what it is you might want to do next. Now, where it comes to matters of love, a couple of things to remember here. One is Mars going direct is a big deal. In your opposite sign, it means that in love, in relationships, it can feel like things move forward for you. And Venus will go into shadow in that communicative, spontaneous part of the sky that's so lit up for you now, this month and going forward from here. But on the 4th of the month, Venus changes signs and moves into the foundation of your chart. And it is here that most of the Venus retrograde season does take place. There will be a Venus retrograde special horoscope. Be on the lookout for that here, and of course in the Superstar space on my website as well. Now, having said all of that, understand that for you, because Venus is spending so much time at the foundation of your chart having to do with your past, love in the past, that is going to be a big signature of this larger Venus retrograde season for you. The past popping up in some way, whether through patterns that you're demonstrating or actual people. It is about having another look, a deeper look, and understanding from that place of a different perspective what it is that you might want to do next. So, for those of you open to meeting someone new, look, as an overall trend, I love Mars going direct. It can feel as if it's that much easier to connect with others now. And if you've had your eye on somebody, it may feel like they pop up in some way now. But that Venus retrograde season, it is possible that you might hook up with an ex about a week into this month. I'm being straightforward with you. It may feel fated in some way. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is, but it does mean that there's something to learn here. And it's up to you to decide where you want to go with it, what you want to do with it. But for all that, there's also an awareness now of your own patterns, of how far you've come, of where it is perhaps you might need to forgive something of the past so that you can move forward in love. For those of you just starting to date someone, how easy it is to talk to this person and how comfortable you feel with them. These are going to be larger themes as part of this larger Venus retrograde season that we are now in the midst of. The retrograde doesn't officially begin until we start next month, and yet it is now that whatever insights or your own desires for something stable might feel especially strong. It is once Mars goes direct that I think you'll have a moment of a more honest evaluation of this person. But it's also possible that you become aware of your own desires, whether or not you really want to be with them. And if you do, are you playing the long game or not? Well, there is an honest assessment there that does happen about 3 weeks into this month. And that's going to be part of guiding your understanding of how it is you might engage the rest of the Venus retrograde season going forward from here. And for those of you in an established bond, I love the energies here. They speak very powerfully to finding ways to communicate what you feel, what you're hoping for in the context of love, but also creating more security and a feeling of stability between the two of you. Having this feeling of a sanctuary for the two of you to affirm together. But for all that though, it is going to be, as we navigate this time, if you're in a good relationship, it's going to feel that much stronger, that much more secure as you build something together. But if it is that you've had doubts as to whether or not you're in the right relationship for you, those feelings are going to stir so strongly now in a way that is just downright undeniable, in a way that feels very much on the surface, in a way that has you feeling like old stuff from the past is drudging up, including old resentments. And that becomes part of figuring out whether or not meaningful healing can happen so the two of you can move on together or not. This is a time where you are embracing the journey where you will find your own unique answers. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say I love the energy of, well, I think Mars going forward in your opposite sign is wonderful. It's going to help you to feel like you are able to understand those one-on-one alliances in your life that much more readily. And you're able to feel empowered or inspired or passionate given the nature of the partnership or relationships that you might have in your life. It is the fact that Mars goes forward while hanging tight that connection with your ruling planet Saturn that I think is going to help you to cultivate a spirit of stability. And it's going to help you to make those personal realizations as to your part within key alliances, all part of then understanding what steps it is that you might want to do next as part of affirming bonds that matter to you. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate over at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or thefutureismagical.com. Now, higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. I also want to add that I do have a very limited number of consultations available. You can learn a lot more about getting a consultation with me or with Andy of Wise Ass Astrology. Yes, you can book a consultation with him as well over on my website. Just check out the consultation tab and links are below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.